Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where last episode we landed on the moon with Apollo 11, and now we need to do our science here and head on back. So first things first, I want to move any fuel that we can from the bottom to the top, just to make sure that we have all of the fuel possible up here. Now, to be clear, it does look like we used up more fuel with the landing than is in this tank, so we'll likely have to address that with future landing attempts. We'll have to make some revisions here. That said, remember that there's some fuel in this capsule as well, and it's actually not an insignificant amount. It's about 25% of what's in here. That's actually remarkable. We might have enough fuel in here just to lift off based on that. I don't know, we'd have to figure out different attachment points and things like that, but for right now, let's get Jeb on out, and Jeb is just going to go take a bit of a walk. Okay, Jeb, there you go. Just go take a walk. Have yourself a grand and glorious time, because we need to swap back over here and have Bob do a bunch of stuff. We need to grab a crew report, a temperature scan, an atmospheric pressure scan, a mystery goo observation, a materials study, and then we're going to collect all that data. There we go. That's great. Material study while in space near the moon already in that. Yeah, that's in our capsule right now, right? Yes. So we'll keep that in that location. Next, Bob needs to EVA. We're going to grab our EVA report and a surface sample. We're going to hop back in and collect all of that data here. We're going to grab our surface sample again, and that's going to be stored in this capsule. Then I want to restore the mystery goo containment unit, and I was hoping we'd be able to reach the Science Junior from this side. Sadly, that does not appear to be the case. Come on. Wow, he would not turn on his RCS there until after he landed on the ground. That was exciting. Okay, so we'll just land here, and we're going to restore the Radial Science Junior. So that's great, and we're going to conduct the materials study, and then we're going to collect that data. This data will be stored in the capsule. We're going to collect that and restore again, and then we're going to grab the data again, and that will remain here. Yep, that's absolutely fine. This time, he actually started using his RCS right away. Cool. So we're going to hop back over here. We need to do the same, of course, with the mystery goo. So we need to observe this and keep that. We then need to collect it and restore and observe it again. Beautiful. We'll hop in, and I believe that to be all of the science that we can get on this lander. So that's all great, right? I do want to disable crossfeed here. There we go. And we can see we've got 2161 DV over here. That's quite a lot of DV, no doubt about that. I'm going to shut down our landing engine, and we're going to hop back over to Jeb, and we're basically done on the moon already. We didn't have that much to do here. Future missions absolutely will have more to do on the moon. For now, Jeb is going to lift on off, and we're going to hop right on in the capsule. Hello. Okay. We kind of collided with it a bit. It's all good. You okay, Jeb? Jeb is not okay. Jeb has fallen. Let's try that again, Jeb. There you go. Excellent. So now Jeb is going to hop in. We've got all of our science, and note how it is all stored up above this decoupler. That is exactly the plan. So at this point, we can start our rendezvous to Apollo 11. We can set that as our target. And really, I'm just going to warp forward here for a while until this is a little closer, but we're probably going to have to do a standard rendezvous, right? It's basically on the exact opposite side of the moon right now, and we'll just let that head on over. Whoa, okay, we overshot. I was not expecting it to come up as quickly as it did. Wow, that comes up fast. Okay. So off we go here. Whoa, hang on a moment. What is in fact happening here? That's a little wild. Okay, This thing really, really, really wants to pull down, and I think that's because this decoupler is, I'm pretty sure, facing the wrong direction. That's okay. This is actually manageable, but we are going to have to fix this for future missions. This decoupler needs to get flipped around. That is very, very clear at this point. So up we go, and we're going to continue to go up here. I want to go into target. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is deflecting our engine at this point. We can get that fixed by Bill once we get there, but I'm not sure how much we actually care about that. So we can see here that we're going to need to continue to push on out here. Okay. Now what we're going to want to do is twist our orbit around this direction a bit. So I want to burn like 90 degrees at the horizon here-ish. Oh, this thing really wants to pull down. Okay. So we're just working on getting horizontal speed at this point. We are bringing together this separation, although it's going to be decently far apart in terms of speed, right? That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Once we get this close enough, that'll be good. And yeah, we're going to have quite a speed delta. Okay. That's good enough for now. We're going to go around to retrograde. This decoupler being this direction is definitely a problem. That's for sure. So this is going to be 347 meters per second. So I'm going to use this just for timing. We're going to have this be minus 347. Okay. So again, that's just for timing. We want to be in target retrograde here. And we're going to warp forward just a smidge. So obviously we're going to have to change our velocity quite a lot. This is not shocking though. 1 minute until burn timing. About 30 seconds. Where are we in relation to the thing? I have no idea where it is right now. Oh, there it is. Hello, Apollo 11. So we're going to have about 15 seconds until burn time here. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, so we're killing our relative speed here. And this will put us into virtually the same orbit. Then we can do a get closer burn. It's going to be a little bit awkward for us, no doubt about that. And I don't actually care about this maneuver. It's irrelevant. We just want to be burning target retrograde here, bringing our relative speed right on down. It's currently at 0.5. That's okay. So now we're going to burn towards the target a little bit here, and I want to keep our thrust kind of low at this moment so that this is a little bit more controllable with this decoupler issue. Okay, we're going to head in at around 50 meters per second for right now. So this is about 40 and 50. Now we're going to flip around to retrograde. And this is where we're going to do the majority of our steering here. We can see that we're going to be 0.1 kilometers apart. So I'm going to warp forward a little bit here. Cool. And this is definitely not the most efficient way to do this. But it did get us here with 516 meters per second to spare. So I'm reasonably content with that. We're currently about 1.6 kilometers away from it. Is this the wrong object? No, I don't think so. I don't know. It just feels kind of strange to me. So we're going to start doing a bit of a corrective burn here. Okay, that looks good. Oh, I think we just never actually ejected this. That's funny. I thought we did eject it, but that must have had something to do with that save snafu. That's fine. We're definitely going to start decelerating here. About 10 meters per second apart. Okay. 3 meters per second apart. I'm kind of okay with this trajectory, actually. It looks decent. So we're just going to head on in here. Yeah, this is supposed to be split apart, but it doesn't matter. We don't need this fuel anyway. So it's fine. No major issues there. About 30 meters out right now. Okay, 15 meters. And let's just get this decelerated right on down. There we go. And let's line up here. So set as target. We need to go this direction. There we go. Perfect. And we'll get this lined up as well. So we will set you as target. Okay, this is going to be a bit off. No doubt about that. Are we actually close enough for docking forces right away? That would be kind of insane. Okay, I'm just going to park there for right now. We actually might be close enough. We are drifting slightly apart. Okay. Let's bring it in. And docking forces. Beautiful. And we are docked. So yeah, this was a minor issue here, and fuel is a bit of a concern on this tank as well. It is functional, though. So now we, of course, need to open up our service bay here. And actually, we should run this decoupler here. This fuel all remains here. We don't want to reuse it, or we don't want to use any of that fuel as extra for right now. I want to collect all of the data that we can here. Then we're going to collect all of the data that we can here. And then we're going to collect all of the data that we can here. So 4, 2, and 9. That looks correct. 0 experiments stored here. No data stored here. No data stored here. No data stored in the mystery goo, correct? It won't let me interact with it. Okay, but there shouldn't be any data stored there. So that should be okay. Now we need to transfer our crew over. So we're going to transfer Bob, and we're going to transfer Jebediah. And now we're pretty much done here. We don't need this module. That will remain in orbit. And we're actually in a kind of okay point, almost, to return to Kerbal. So we're going to add a maneuver here to do our return trajectory. We're going to want this to be not turbo spicy. So we're going to bring this in at about 50 kilometers, and we're probably going to do a radial retrograde as well. So we can ditch our lunar lander at this point, just double checking that there's no data in here. There's not. Phenomenal. So we can close this service bay. We no longer need to have our lunar module. We're done with that. And at this point, we are going to head on back to Kerbal. So we'll line up about here. And let's warp. So those are going to slowly drift away from us. That's fine. They're in slightly different orbits. They will remain in orbit forever until we clean them up or retrieve them. But we've definitely identified a bit of a problem with this design. There's no doubt about that. So we'll need to do something there. And actually, I'm guessing that that polling had to do with the offset weight of the Science Junior. Almost certainly. We can think about what we want to do about that. It was manageable, though. It was manageable. So that is something that we definitely... Well, it's going to be because the thrust is offset. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what to do about that. I'll think about it. For now, of course, we need to head on back. This was a successful moon landing, and we are heading home in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. This engine isn't activated. There we go. We're slightly late on it. It doesn't matter. This will be just fine. We've got lots of Delta V for coming home here. The main area of extra Delta V that we have is in this stage, at this juncture. So that's that second stage there that delivers us to the moon. That's the main area of excess fuel that we have. We're going to have to do a little bit of... I mean, we have the fuel to land and return. in our lander, but it is a little dicier than I'd like to see. So for now, that's not necessarily the best thing in the world. Let's get rid of this maneuver. We no longer need the actual maneuver. We're just going to keep burning until we see about 50 kilometers here. 40 is good enough. That'll absolutely do. So back we go, and from here we could definitely do a radial retrograde re-entry burn. So that'll... I don't want to set that as our target. Unset the target. Okay. So that's going to end up meaning that we are going to do a retrograde burn here and then radially maintain approximately 40 kilometers for the periapsis. I want this periapsis pinned open. There we go. So we have 1,300 meters per second to do this with, which is a lot. Like a whole lot. And how's this looking? Something kind of like this seems like a reasonable re-entry here. That's 50 kilometers. I think that's a little too conservative. Let's bring it to about 30 kilometers. Yeah, that should be plenty safe. I don't think we have any problem whatsoever there. That is close to our remaining fuel being burned off there, so I like it. We did definitely have some fuel waste. But I mean, to a certain degree with a mission like this, that is to be expected. So that's absolutely wonderful. Let's warp on over and prepare for this burn. Getting back into the Kerbal sphere of influence here. There we go. And downward we go, building up a lot of speed. And we're going to be commencing this burn in about 50 seconds. This is going to be all well above the atmosphere, which is exactly what we're looking for, of course. 20 seconds, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and mark. Phenomenal. So this is going to be a fairly lengthy burn. I'm going to physics warp it. And downward we go. As we go into low Kerbal orbit here. 2 minutes left in the burn. Excellent. So we can definitely see our orbital speed getting a lot more manageable as we do our radial retrograde re-entry burn. And this is absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever. To be clear, I don't think that they actually did a radial retrograde re-entry burn in the Apollo program, but this is close enough. They probably did do some sort of re-entry burn. I can actually look at that. We've got 16 seconds left in this burn. It doesn't really matter, though. So just checking. Trans-Earth injection. Service module is jettisoned just before re-entry. Okay. We're kind of emulating that with this getting jettisoned. So I guess that's reasonably fine. Okay. We've overshot this ever so slightly. I think that's okay, though. We have a little bit of fuel left. Let's jettison this and call that our service module. There we go. And from here, it looks like they did not actually do any sort of a re-entry burn or anything. The CM was just slowed via atmospheric drag and then deployed parachutes for a splashdown in the Pacific. So that's all fine. I don't know if we're actually going to splash down here. It's kind of dark where we're going to be periapsising at, but it looks like it's probably going to end up being a land landing. We'll see. For the time being, we're going to warp on forward until we hit atmosphere. We're going up right now, which is to be expected. Now we're going back down. And we're hitting atmosphere as of right now. So we'll reorient on around. Wonderful. And let's physics warp our way on in. Cool. So we're barely above orbital speed right now. It's not going to take all that much drag to pull us down below orbital speed. We're relatively high up, but we're targeting a periapsis of 30 kilometers, so maybe we overshoot this continent. Maybe. I don't know. Didn't really angle for it. We're not slowing down all that much just yet, but we're going to start slowing down dramatically very soon. Indeed. To be clear, we're relatively okay with having a land landing, although I'd really prefer not to. We may end up losing the heat shield. Hopefully we don't end up losing any of these bad boys. But they're attached not to the heat shield, but to the bottom of the service module, I think. That's the idea, anyway. That's definitely going to be a land landing. Okay. Well, we'll see. Hopefully we don't lose any of the science. That would be sad. This science, for the record, is earmarked for actually going to not rocket development. We mostly have what we need for rocket development. This science is earmarked for going towards getting more science. That's the idea. Usually I'd prioritize that a lot sooner, but with our rules being what they are, it's kind of complicated, actually. So there's our 4 drogue chutes and our 2 main chutes. We may up the number of chutes and add in 2 additional main chutes if this doesn't go tremendously well. We'll see how that goes, but we need to come on down over the highlands here. And with any luck, we won't lose any of our science. I think we'll come down at a reasonable speed. I don't want to jettison this heat shield because we're going to use it at this point for lithobreaking. Unless it's like really, really borderline. We are coming down right on this steep portion though. That could be interesting. We'll see what happens here. Okay, 8.5 meters per second. Not too bad. Definitely not too bad. Okay, we're coming out of physics warp. I absolutely do not want to be physics warping when we hit the ground here. This is not what this capsule is designed to do, but we'll see. It actually didn't end up blowing up the heat shield. Now I'm going to open up the service bay doors here as AirSat's landing legs to stop us from rolling all over. There we go. Beautiful. We can actually grab a mystery goo observation, which mildly surprises me. I guess we do have full science instrumentation here. So we can grab a mystery goo observation from here, and we can collect that, and then we can have Bob EVA. Luckily, our hatch ended up being on the top side. We can grab our surface sample, and we're probably out of range of reaching this. So what we can do then is walk out over here and hope that we get in range. Okay, we can probably get back up from this side, so that should be fine. We're going to hop down here and climb up over here and restore the mystery goo containment unit. Then I'm going to observe it. Keep that experiment. We're going to collect it, and then we're going to restore it again. We don't have a science junior here, but we can definitely do this with mystery goo. And we are going to... What did I just do there? What step were we on? Hang on. Let me find out. Collect this data. Restore. And then we should observe one more time. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So now we're going to hop up over here. Wonderful. We grab on, and we board. Yes, that's fine. We'll recover this, and that's going to be a lot of science. Like, a way lot of science. We know that we have a couple of issues with our lander module, and I'd like to get those fixed here. We also need to, of course, get our payment for Apollo 11. We're barely profitable with these Saturn V launches right now, and that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Honestly, we got a lot from just world first milestones for that one. So that's quite a lot. No doubt about that. Let's get this loaded up here. 465 science from that one. And of course, we landed on the far side crater. So that's good to know. World first milestones. Actually, we didn't get that much from that. Okay, that makes me a little bit sad. But whatever, that's fine. We need to get our payment. So let's grab that. There we go. And now let's hop into R&D here. I want to check for things like getting access to space exploration here, because that gives us the Probodobodine Experiment Control Station, which seems decent. And the cargo storage unit, which is probably going to end up being necessary. So we'll grab that. Advanced exploration would give us access to things like the container modules and the mobile processing lab, which will be useful later. I'm not sure if it's super useful now. What I'm really interested in here is getting access to the magnetometer, which we might not be able to do from here. Here it is. Okay, so that would be 300, so we would have to grab advanced electrics or precision engineering. The weather analyzer, of course, isn't going to do anything on the moon. So I think for the moment, we might end up grabbing these different photovoltaic panels. That'll be fine, and then electronics would be what we would end up getting next. And that would give us access to the passive seismometer as well. So I would love to research that, but we can't do that yet, of course. That's fine for now. So what did we end up actually getting access to for science? Well, some surface deployed stuff is the answer. So it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to overhaul our lander a little bit and toss in some of these new things that we can now bring. And that'll be an Apollo 12 sort of thing. That'll be the next goal. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.